Welcome to another episode of Photo Enthusiastic. I'm your host, Jim Fair. A lot of people have said some negative things about the Nikon Z6. In terms of image quality, though, I'm not seeing these issues people are pointing out. So there's talk of banding when you're recovering the shadows. And I'm here to tell you that under normal conditions, and even when you make a huge mistake with the exposure and you're recovering shadows, I'm not seeing banding until I'm really pushing it. Okay, so I don't think you're going to see any artifacts under normal use with this camera. The only thing that seems to phase it is, difficult lighting. So under event lighting conditions the other night, I was in a gallery. The autofocus kept tracking pictures of faces on the walls rather than actual faces in the foreground. So I had to sort of turn the camera to get those faces out of the way or adjust my position, step 2 paces forward to grab focus on someone's face, step back, and then take the shot. And I was shooting strobe. So I was shooting, full manual, ISO 400, and shooting like 1/32 power on my clone of a Nikon flash. It's a Cameron by Henry's. It's probably a Young-Yo underneath though. Anyhow, the quality of the images was simply excellent. Yes, it missed focus a few times, mostly to hit the background, but for the shots that turned out, they were great, and I didn't feel I had to give up on it. I just sort of worked through the problem and managed to get the shots I needed. So, in terms of image quality, I don't have any complaints, and my adapted glass is doing a great job. So, here's a couple of macro shots that I took today with strobe just for fun, so at f/16, and 1/160th of a second using wireless cheap Cowboy Studio triggers, and they look great, not an issue to speak of. So for those who are concerned that the backside illuminated sensor and its autofocus points can cause problems, I would say under normal use you're not going to see them. The price of the glass is a bit of a challenge, but you're getting much better corner-to-corner sharpness, and the autofocus is fairly quiet, but the lenses are fairly big to cast that big image circle, I guess. So it's kind of amusing to have such a big image circle, and then you can adapt things with the FTZ adapter. And the old lenses with their smaller image circle, or one would think it would be smaller, still work, and the IBIS still works as well. So I haven't had any issues with the in-body stabilization. Nikon doesn't call it IBIS, of course. They call it sensor VR. It's still early days, so I'm still testing. So we'll see how it goes. Compared to, say, my D750, I'm finding the colors richer, the images a little sharper, the corner-to-corner sharpness is better, and the fact that it's a lighter weight camera, it's mirrorless, and it can shoot faster, those are all pluses. So the only real issue left that bothers me is the price of the lenses. So for the moment I have the one native lens, and everything else I have is adapted, and I've even adapted Canon glass to this now. So I've got my Canon adapter, this K&F Concepts adapter. I'm sure that under controlled conditions you can replicate the issues with the sensor, the backside illuminated sensor, and you might be able to see the rectangular shape of those autofocus points, like the banding. Under certain conditions, sure. But, I took a shot by accident that should have been strobe at like f/16, ISO 400, and the image is just black. And I managed to recover the image in Photoshop, or Camera Raw basically, and I didn't see any banding. There was one that I did see some banding on, but that was like, 8 or 10 stops underexposed. So It's quite a ways down there in the noise floor. I don't think you're going to see it in normal use. It's like they love to put the fear into you. What is the old IBM phrase? FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They would sow fear in the competition and uncertainty, and they would cast doubt on the competition's ability. But I'm here to tell you the Z6 is pleasantly surprising in almost every way. The only minor quibble I have is the FTZ adapter sticks out a little bit, so that if you have a tripod, mounting plate, you're going to have to put it here instead of here. Or if it's here and then you want to mount this, then you have to unmount it and then remount it here. It's a minor inconvenience. I think what Nikon is really doing here is taking pages from Sony's playbook. And Sony's playbook is basically full frame mirrorless, go all out, capture that market, and they're doing a pretty good job. So I'll link to a video here if you want to have a look at it. Nikon and Canon's efforts are merely improving Sony's sales, which is kind of amusing. Anyway, I'm blathering on. I will put an end to this in my usual way, which is to say, thanks for watching. Day down.